With the release of Jeepers Creepers Reborn, we got 4 entries in the franchise, so let's rank them. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one today. I'm the movie ranker, and today I'm going to be ranking all 4 Jeepers Creepers movies from worst to best. Now, quick disclaimer, I realize that the director is a piece of shit and he deserves to rot in prison the rest of his life. But the reason why I'm covering these movies is because it takes more than one person to make them. Like, you got all the actors, you got all the cast and crew, and it's just not really fair to them to get rid of these movies because they worked hard on these as well. But I do acknowledge that Victor Salva is a piece of shit. And before I get into this ranking, just make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content, because I put out a ranking at least once a week, guys, so you don't want to miss it. And let's dive in. So coming in at number 4 in last place, we got Jeepers Creepers 3. Oof, it was a tough decision picking the worst movie in this franchise, but in the end I chose this one. It has an odd choice of being set between the first and the second movie, even though it's part 3. Which is really odd because you know nothing can happen to the creeper or nothing because he's obviously in the next movie. It's always a fail when they go back and try to do these in-between movies, in my opinion anyway. And also, this movie adds nothing to the trilogy. Like, you could easily throw this one away and it doesn't change the story whatsoever. It doesn't add anything interesting to the creeper or his origins or anything like that. They tease you because there's this hand in this movie that when they touch it, they can see how to defeat the creeper and see his origins and that. But yet the people who touch it never explain what they see. So it's just basically a tease and then they die off, those people. So we never do get to see anything about the creeper, anything new. It's just wasted. On a positive note, I think the drama in the film is handled okay, but that's not what I come to a Jeepers Creepers movie for. Like concerning the main lead and her grandma and how her grandma's kind of like going crazy and seeing ghosts and shit. That's all interesting, but it doesn't really go anywhere. And yeah, like the main lead and her love interest with all the freckles all over his face. Yeah, it's nice to watch them, but yeah, that's basically the only positive I can give. The special effects look terrible, the movie looks extremely cheap, and most of the movie takes place in the daytime, which takes away all the scares, all the horror. There's no tension, there's no atmosphere, nothing to be found in this movie. And the whole school bus scene in the finale to reveal that this takes place before part 2 makes absolutely no sense. Like, the character that gets on the bus at the end wasn't even in part 2. Like, nothing adds up. This is a pointless entry in the franchise, and it's just a terrible movie overall. Up next at number 3, we got the brand new Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Now, I had a real tough choice choosing which movie was worse between this and part 3. I got a tiny bit more positives for this one, but they're both 1-star movies, guys, so take my ranking with a grain of salt. But yeah, this movie, it had okay acting. The acting was serviceable. I enjoyed the intro with Dee Wallace and how we kind of got to see like in the past with the creeper with his truck being much more new and have paint on it and that. I think that was cool. We got lots of horror references in here regarding costumes and whatnot because they do go to a horror festival in this movie. So I thought that was real neat for the big horror fans like me. But that's basically where the positives end, guys. The second half of this movie is just complete garbage. For starters, the movie looks awful with its CGI and green screen. I honestly don't think I've ever seen a theatrical release look this bad. The green screen behind them at times looks like it's from a PlayStation 1 video game, and you can totally tell that they're not actually there, that they're just in a room with green screen. And the creeper also looks atrocious, the worst he's looked in the franchise. I know it's played by a different actor as well, but his face just seems like stretched out around the nose. His hat looks like it's made out of electrical tape, it's that cheap. And his motives just make completely no sense. Like, I know this is a reboot or a sequel, I don't even know what it is. But they're trying different things, but adding in a cult and having our main lead have these random visions of this cult with the creeper and him trying to take her baby and stuff, it's so away from what the original character was. It just doesn't suit me well. And while this movie may be more offensive to the lore that they set forth in the original trilogy and the fan base, it was slightly more entertaining to me than part 3, and it actually had a bit of horror elements, which was lacking in part 3, so that's why this one gets the edge. Coming in at number 2, we got Jeepers Creepers 2. Now this is a solid sequel that I enjoy. I like that we get a real isolated setting with the bus breaking down on the road in the middle of nowhere with no help around. And you know, they're just getting picked off one by one and they have really nowhere to go. The creeper looks really gnarly in here. I love his design. The effects are pretty good when they stick with the practical effects, like shoving the pole through the face, and the wings and stuff like that look really good. But when they use CGI, it does look pretty bad, especially like the sky scenes. The sky looks so fake in this movie with the stars and that. Like, I don't know why they couldn't just use an actual sky. And also, the creepers flying scenes don't look all that great, but they do keep the character mysterious and like this unstoppable force coming at them. He's really threatening and scary. On top of all that, all the jocks and the teens on this bus are fighting with each other as well. They're very much split up into groups, and certain ones don't like certain ones, which is hard to survive when you're not working as a team. And it does get a few of them killed in this, and it just adds that extra element. I also really like the intro to this movie with the whole cornfield and the kid getting abducted. That was one of the best moments in the entire franchise, if you ask me. And I like how that side plot kind of gets mixed with our main plot later on in the film. And the dad and the son got this badass truck with a harpoon on the back. It's just so cool. I do have a few negatives for this movie though, like the blonde girl that's on the bus that somehow out of nowhere she starts getting these visions of the creeper and learning a little bit about him and about what happened in the first movie, where it makes absolutely no sense, and the only reason why she's getting these visions is to explain to the viewer basically what's going on, and so like the rest of the bus can understand what the creeper is. She's basically just given exposition, and that's the only reason why she's having these visions, so it doesn't sit real well with me. And also, it was a pretty dumb choice to have this on day 23 if you planned on making more movies, because this is the last day that he's going out before he has to go back into hibernation, basically. But in the end, I really dig this sequel. It's a really fun entry. It's fast-paced and super entertaining. But easily, coming in the first place in this franchise is the original Jeepers Creepers from 2001. Right off the bat, Gina Phillips and Justin Long are two of my favorite characters in the entire franchise by a country mile. They play these siblings, Trish and Derry, and it's just so genuine. You can tell they're brother and sister. They really play it very well, whether they're playing their road games, picking out license plates and that, or when they're struggling to survive later in the movie. You can really feel that they were siblings. And the story is very simplistic, yet extremely unique and original. And I feel like the sequels kind of got too convoluted with their stories, especially the third and the newest one. And that's what they suffer from the most, where this movie kept it straightforward, but really awesome. And I feel it's this dripping with tension from start to finish. It's real mysterious. They slowly reveal the creeper. You think it's just a man at first, and as the movie goes on, you're like, this is becoming more and more like a creature. And he's played brilliantly by Jonathan Breck in this movie. I think he's in the first 3 films, if I'm not mistaken, but he plays the character so well. And I feel like the costume design and the effects in here are all superior to every one of the sequels. And I absolutely love the lore behind the creeper, the whole 23-year cycle, and he goes for a hunt for 23 days for food to regenerate his body parts and that, and how he smells fear, and that's how he determines if you're worthy of body parts or not. It's just so cool and original. And that whole scene with Derry going down the pipe to see what's down there in the basement of the church, it's just so creepy. Definitely my favorite scene in the entire franchise. It's so well shot. I love how we get like all the bodies on the ceiling and that, of like almost looks like a cathedral. It is just so creepy and sinister, and I feel like they can never really recapture that in this franchise. And for the rest of the movie after that scene, you can really see the terror in Justin Long's eyes and his character's eyes, Derry, and he sells it so good. Like, he looks scared to death. And obviously our final shot in the movie of Derry is horrifying as well. If you've seen the movie, you know what shot I'm talking about. It definitely gets under your skin and feels like a straight up serious horror moment, which Again, the sequels kind of drop the ball and make the movies too goofy. Another standout sequence is the whole police station finale, where he's just taking out inmates and cops and trying to make his way to the siblings to take them out. It's just so good, full of tension again, and brilliantly shot with its lighting and everything. And that's when we start to see the creeper in his full form with his wings and everything. He looks like a freaking gargoyle or something. I love it. I mean, even that old ass Jeepers Creepers song, Jeepers Creepers, it gets under my skin when I'm watching this movie. It pairs so well with the story. And it's just a shame that we didn't get a proper sequel to this film with Trish going over vengeance, trying to get this creeper. Maybe we will in the future, because, you know, she could wait 23 years and then try to go out looking for her brother or find out where the creeper is. I think that would be super interesting, and we may get it down the road, but I doubt it. But all in all, this is easily my favorite movie of the franchise. It's just such a unique creature feature, and it easily comes in the first place. So there you have it, guys. There's my ranking of all 4 Jeepers Creepers movies. Let me know down below what you think of my ranking, how you would rank them. Have you seen the new one? Do you think it's worse than Part 3? Because I have them both as 1-star movies and I had a really tough choice choosing which was worse. It doesn't happen too often where I have a tough time choosing the worst film in a franchise, but this is one of those cases. Also, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, guys, thanks for watching.